Hello, everybody. It is a Monday, which means it is Jock Talk with the Jocks of All Trades podcast. I am Brad, joined by Kyle. Um, yeah, hello.
Hello.
The first weekend without football in a while.
Sad day.
Yeah, did you just sit and stare at the TV screen, or how
Luckily,
was
I
your
did
your
have.
pro?
Luckily, I did have things to do, but if I
Yeah,
didn't have things to do, I'd be like, "What am I supposed to do?" Like,
yeah,
I would have been on my couch doing nothing. So, it's weird. You wake up, you're like, "Oh, like, yeah, I probably should think about church first thing in the morning," but sadly, some Sundays I'm like, "Oh, today's football." Yes, and then you wake up and you're like, "What am I supposed to do after church?" I don't know.
right. Sleep.
Just sleep. I guess that's
Yeah, what is sleep?
yeah.
Anyways, adulthood is hitting me hard. As usual, it's Monday. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Fresh Cuts. When you're looking for a new look, just getting to be redone, whatever you want to do, hit up my friend Caleb Kemper and his business, Fresh Cuts. That's FRESHKUTS. You can find him on Facebook. Shoot him a message if you're interested in getting a haircut. If you don't live in Indiana, that might be a little difficult for you, but try it anyway. See what happens. But again, thanks so much, man, for your support, patronage, being here, watching with us, all that kind of stuff. Let's go ahead and jump in, as usual, to the buzz. Where did I start this week? The big news, watching the Super Bowl, and I went back and watched it like after the fact. I didn't watch it on Sunday. Yeah, no, that's a crime. Uh, but one of the big things they talked about, like leading up to the actual game, was a report about Aaron Donald retiring. Which I was like, okay, all right, it's just one of those like buzzy little rumors, and then it got supported again, uh, which is kind of terrifying. And I know that he's kind of hinted about let's run it back, but if you're Aaron Donald, you just won the trophy, the big thing that you've wanted. If you are Aaron Donald, is he going to retire?
Well, if he retired, he would definitely go to the Hall of Fame. Like if he retired right now, for sure.
Yep.
I think Hall of Fame status. It's like, are you one of the most dominant players at your position when you played? And heck yeah, he was. He was the guy. He had so many sacks, but like as a defensive tackle too, and that's what people don't see is they look at the T.J. Watts and the Myles Garrett and compare sacks to Aaron Donald. But Aaron Donald does this as a D tackle. He's not on the edge all the time. He's getting double teamed. Like he's doing this on the inside, which is just so impressive. And like you said, if you win the big one, you go out on top. That's a great way to go instead of you coming back for another 4 or 5 years and then ending on a horrible note, like a lot of people have had. They've ended on a horrible note and retire not off into the sunset, but they retire in a sad way. And look, Sean McVay, too, there are rumors that networks would offer him double what he's getting paid now as a head coach. So, like, there are opportunities for guys like this to get paid probably some decent numbers, even if they stepped away from football. And
Yep.
football takes a big toll on your body. So, I don't think he will retire, but I wouldn't blame him if he did.
Yep. Also, KDC Bowl, dude, it has been a while. So much has changed. I know you're on YouTube. I just updated our YouTube description with all of our shows that we do now. We kind of revolve what we do on certain days. I know you were there for fantasy. We will get back into fantasy the week before week 1 of the actual season. But hey, thanks for hanging with us, man. Yeah, I saw that and I was like, oh, I know who that is. Yeah, we're just talking about Aaron Donald. I know this one's a little late now, but still important. Burrow had a sprain in the Super Bowl. It doesn't require surgery, but it might be a sign of things to come if they don't change stuff. We'll talk about that later. One of our fan favorite segments. Actually, we had a couple old episodes completely named after this segment, QB Carousel. We talk about it often. We love talking about it. And this will be one of those great times to keep talking about it. Let's start with big names and work our way down, shall we?
How dare you put Baker Mayfield as last? He should be first.
Oh, I know. Aaron Rodgers. Contrary to popular belief, I think it's Broncos or nothing. Like, he's either going to go to the Broncos or he's going to stay with the Packers. Like, I don't see him going to the Colts. I don't see him going to Tampa. I don't see him going to the Giants. Like, I don't see that. I really don't. And the biggest pull for him would be Denver. And if he doesn't get Denver and they decide to draft somebody and just not put in the trade effort for him, he's going to stay with the Packers or retire. That's pretty simple for me. I don't know how you feel about that.
I think let's look at Kevin Durant when he left and joined the team that beat him. I think Aaron Rodgers could do that with the 49ers. Listen, he can't get over the 49ers hump. They don't like Jimmy Garoppolo. They know Trey Lance isn't ready yet. I think that would be a feasible number 2 option. I would agree Denver's probably first on the list, but I would put San Fran as a sneaky number 2 just because he can't beat them like at all. I think he'd operate well inside that offense because he doesn't have to do as much because they are a very run-heavy, run-centric kind of team. And he can do so much with Debo and Ayuk and Kittle. I think the 49ers are a sneaky number 2. I think he could take the Kevin Durant route, and if you can't beat him, join him.
Yeah, that's a good point. KDC, dude, that's heartbreaking. I actually made a blockbuster trade and ended up trading Christian McCaffrey for Jamar Chase, and he will be a keeper for me next year. And I feel like I won that trade hands down. We did watch the All-Star game. We're going to talk about that in a bit. So Rodgers, I'm with it. If you can't beat it, join it. I get that. Or it's all or nothing kind of approach. Let's talk about Russell Wilson. He's been so loyal to that franchise, and there's been so many people that have said he's on the move, he's going to go somewhere, and then there's no report that backs that up. Like, you get where I'm at? Yeah. Like, there's nothing that supports that he's actually going to go anywhere. Right. So I think it's going to be Seahawks, but after this season, if it's still bad again, then I think the honeymoon phase, the marriage is over at that point.
Yeah, he does seem very loyal, and I won't really believe it till I see it. But I would put a team out there like the Vikings just because if they do get rid of Kirk Cousins, they brought in an offensive mind. And listen, I don't think Pete Carroll's the best coach in the world. I don't think he has I guess he is more defensive than anything. Maybe. I don't really know. But if he is offensive, he doesn't do a good job at it. I think if he was catered to with an offensive-minded head coach, and then you get him the weapons they have on the Vikings, I mean, I think they're – especially if Rodgers leaves, then Wilson's like, this is my division now. And it would be his division instantly if Rodgers would leave. So yeah. I think that would be a good landing spot for him for the rest of his career. But you're right. I don't really see him leaving Seattle. It's tough for me to see him anywhere else just because he is so loyal and so many rumors, but it never happens. So
yeah. Speaking of lots of rumors, but it hasn't happened. Probably the biggest question mark out of this whole group of carousel guys, Deshaun Watson. I've heard rumors that he's going to move soon. The same with Tunsil and Brandon Cooks. They were that wouldn't surprise me. I'm like, why? Who wants Tunsil? First of all. Second of all, why would you trade your best weapon in Brandon Cooks? And third of all, until Watson gets all that crap cleared, no one's going to take him. So I don't get it. I don't think he's going anywhere this season.
I think he is.
Where?
I think he's going to jail. To jail.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Right
All
to jail. Right to jail.
Straight to jail.
Right straight to jail. I'm glad you got my reference. Yeah, he definitely should figure that whole situation out. If he does, like, even if he does come back and like everything's fine, he doesn't go to jail, all that good stuff. Like, it'd still be hard for me for a team to give up so much for him. You know, like I feel like teams would be like, nah, like here's like one first round pick, but that's it. And that's what the Texans would have to do. Like, I don't think there's any way he's coming back to the Texans. I don't think that's happening. He doesn't want to be there. And I don't think they want him. So for me, it's like, what team is desperate enough to take him? I think the Commanders are, honestly. And I hate calling them the Commanders, but that's their name now. I think they're desperate enough just because they truly cannot find a quarterback, and it's so hard for them to find one, and they're so desperate for like a starting one, like a veteran one. And we know their owner is a piece of junk, piece of trash. So I wouldn't put that past them to just give up an arm and a leg for Deshaun Watson, even before all that stuff comes out. So
here's a fun stat for you. Speaking of that team, they have had 21 different starting quarterbacks since their last Super Bowl win. That is atrocious. Not even one that panned out for them. Nothing.
Even RG3 injured, in and out. Yep.
Yeah. They might get in the sweepstakes. I get it. I hear you. Let's go to Jimmy Garoppolo. He can't stay there. He can't stay there. Why would he? What is he going to do?
Yeah.
Trey Lance is the heir incumbent, so he's not going to do anything. If anything, you know what's sad? The stat is he has the most Super Bowl rings out of active quarterbacks. But that was on the back of Tom Brady and that Patriots defense. So, you know, that's not a great like calling card when that's all you can say when you want people to sign you. Honestly, he could go to Indy. He could go to Indy.
I could see that. I could see the Giants too. Just because like new head coaching, it's Brian Dable, and even though Jimmy G is nothing like the quarterback he had, neither is Daniel Jones. Definitely not. So I think new quarterback would fit him well. Especially if he doesn't like Daniel Jones. I feel like that's a very Giants thing to do, is get someone like Jimmy Garoppolo. And they probably skew it in a way that's like, well, he is top 10 in winning percentage for all active quarterbacks. Well, that's great. But you go to the Giants, who's a horrible organization, like that stat will mean nothing. So I feel like they're the kind of team to be like, hey, this is who we got. Aren't you excited? He wins a lot. But in reality, he's a pretty below average quarterback. Yeah, I can see the Colts. I can see the Giants too. Yep. Or I could really see him as a backup literally anywhere. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Well, that's where he thrived to begin with. So, how about Kirk Cousins? Obviously, you got to leave Minnesota. I don't think there is any reason he stays unless the new head coach is just that stupid. You know, if the Texans are really unsure about what they want to do, you could underpay Cousins and at least have a decent quarterback while Mills develops. Because I'll tell you what, in the back half of the season, Davis Mills was not that bad.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You need a bridge gap, a bridge start or something, because Deshaun ain't coming back. Davis Mills is not exactly like Tom Brady or Peyton Manning. Like, he's not that kind of player for you. So I think realistically, just shop for a veteran to be like a stopgap.
Yeah, I like that. I definitely thought about the Texans when first looking at this. I would put out another team as well, and I would say the who might get rid of a quarterback? Who was I thinking of? The Raiders, maybe, if they get rid of Derek Carr. I think, and then the Lions. Like, no one likes Jared Goff. I'm sorry, Jared Goff. Like, that's not. It's not a knack on you. It's just you're not very good, especially if they can't find a quarterback they like in the draft or one that's like worthy of starting right away, which I don't think any of them are. besides maybe Kenny Pickett, and even then I'm just like meh. I think Kirk Cousins could be someone that would just step in right away and right the ship a little bit. He's definitely not as bad as Jared Goff, and he can do a lot more with his arm than Jared Goff can. Like he can push it down the field. It's just like no pressure. Like I think Kirk Cousins thrives in the no pressure environment.
Which
but
is
once
not
like
what the NFL is.
right, and I think for Lions who it's never any pressure because they never do anything, then got to be perfect for him. Because he really does. Like he puts up a lot of good stats, but when it gets to crunch time, he doesn't show up. Very much like Carson Wentz. So I think that would be a good spot for him, like a very low pressure kind of environment, like the Texans, like the Lions, to just be like, hey, just play football, and that's good enough for us. So
I'm with it. I like that. Speaking of Carson, that is obviously the next one on my list. Listen, if I'm Indy, bite the 15 mil, let him go. Just bite that 15 mil and let him go. It didn't work. You really think it's going to change in year 2 unless you get some drastic weapon upgrades besides Pittman. Jonathan Taylor is your only selling point, which that's a great selling point, but it's not great for a quarterback in a quarterback league when you need to sling it down the field to win games. Now, Carson had many chances to win games. Specifically, I will continue to think of Tampa Bay as the game where he fell apart. Held the ball too long. You and I have played Madden. Even though it's not actual football, it still is. You have a window to throw the ball. When you sit and you hang on to the ball forever, it's going to be a turnover, an incompletion, or just a wasted down. So either use your legs, get out of the pocket, make something happen, or throw the ball, Carson. You are too inconsistent and too worried about your stats or looking good. I don't know what was wrong with him. Like
he tries to play hero ball.
Yes.
He tries to look for the big play every time, and that's just not the NFL. Like we saw Patrick Mahomes do that in the first half of the season, and what happened to the Chiefs? Their offense was horrible just because he tried to push it downfield. Just take what the defense gives you, and he's never been able to do that. I don't know if it's like a head thing, it's a coaching thing. I think he needs someone that's like on his butt. That could be Bruce Arians for the Buccaneers. I think him and Tom Brady really had a tumultuous relationship at the end. That's what I'm hearing anyway. So, like, I feel like he could probably get on Carson Wentz's case and improve him a little bit in those areas. I think he is decent. Like, we talk about all these guys on the list. Like, I think he's just as good or just as bad as Garoppolo, as Kirk Cousins, even as Derek Carr. So, like, I think he deserves to start. It's just he's not going to really win you much. So I would say the Buccaneers, if they're looking for a quarterback. I would also put the Raiders out there if Derek Carr's outie. And I'd put the Browns there too if Baker Mayfield's gone. Just because they really need Baker Mayfield does not push a ball downfield as well as he should for being like a number 1 overall pick. He doesn't have the biggest arm. I think if you can hone in on Carson Wentz's like ability to like make those deep throws, push the ball downfield, but also just don't turn the ball over, the Browns' offense becomes a little bit more dynamic. He still doesn't have to do that much because it's Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb's show. So I think the Browns would be decent for him as well.
I agree with that. So you brought up the next 2 guys on our list, so let's just hit those quick. Derek Carr, he needs to leave the Raiders. He does. Josh McDaniels will not like that kind of quarterback. Derek Carr, you've done a lot for that franchise, but it's never materialized into what you want it to be. And I think at some point, if you want a ring man, it's not going to be with the Raiders. I think the first team that I thought of when that came out, honestly, was the Giants. You like big playability. Carr will give you that. Put him with Saquon. That might help Saquon some. Like somebody that has that like swagger.
He's a legitimate quarterback, which they haven't had in a while. So that wouldn't be bad. I think the Colts too. I would like that fit for him as well.
Yeah. Baker, you can't come back to Cleveland, man. You really can't. My best thought for him is take the Mitchell Trubisky route. Look, Trubisky didn't pan out. Trubisky is a backup right now. Trubisky has been a pretty decent backup with the Bills. Maybe that's your next career path. And honestly, you know what quarterback out of this rookie draft class needs somebody that knows how to bring swagger to the field a little bit? Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is calm, but sometimes you just need to have that like big dog energy, like I'm going to make something happen. And if you noticed in a lot of the games where they were close and they just lost with the Jags, he just was too calm. And I was like, okay, you play for a crap franchise. This is not Clemson. Clemson, you could be calm. You know you're a top dog. You know that people are coming out to get you. Jacksonville, dude, you got to give them something. You've got the arm. You've got the talent. You need some weapons around you. You need to develop a little more into the NFL game. But I think Baker with Trevor Lawrence, two very diverse personalities, might actually be good for Trevor Lawrence and Baker to get Baker to calm down a little bit and to get Trevor Lawrence to kind of like get that big dog mentality in those kind of games, because that's the NFL. You can't be like humble and quiet and expect to like beat up on everybody. That's just not going to happen. So
yeah, I would hope that the coaching staff can get the majority of what you're talking about, just for Trevor Lawrence's overall calmness. I think Baker can definitely still start in this league, but again, a run heavy kind of team. I would think I'd put the Giants out there as well. I'd put the football team out there. I also put the Dolphins because I don't really know if they're big believers in Tua. The coach from the Rams came – no, not the Rams. The 49ers came over. And if they wanted to establish a good NFL offense, you're going to have to run the ball. And that's what the 49ers did. I think Baker can easily beat Jimmy Garoppolo. So if you're looking for that kind of quarterback, just like make easy throws. We like that you're mobile, get out of the pocket a little bit. You can stay on the field because Baker, he is tough. Like if anything, he's tough and he wants to stay in there and he wants to give it all for his team. It's just his elite traits really aren't there. But I think the Dolphins would be a good fit as well.
Yep. The last one on that list I held is a surprise because that's been more recent news and I wanted to talk about it fresh without thinking about it ahead of time. Tom Brady. I hate that we're talking about this. Just retire as the GOAT and be done with it, man. But people are already talking about Brady to the 49ers, Brady to the 49ers. If I was the Buccaneers, I'd trade Tom Brady for Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm like, are you guys serious? Like, let the man retire. If he wants to play, let him come out and say, I want to play.
Yeah.
However, let's just entertain it for like 2 minutes. If Brady came back, where would you tell him to go?
The Philadelphia Eagles.
No. The Raiders, honestly.
Raiders. I would say the 49ers too, just because I think he would mesh well in that offense.
Just somewhere on the West Coast, basically. Like that's where you're from. Yeah. Go out there and ball out.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Yep. But I hate that we have to talk about that. I really do.
Well, it's like LeBron James, which we're going to mention here soon. Like,
oh yes, we are, and I don't.
Their names always come up, so it's inevitable.
I hate it. Let's go to spicy meatball. We both have different ones on this. You go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to change mine up because Luke's not here. LeBron should retire. That's what I originally went with. He's still a great player. Like he is 100%. He's still a great player. He puts up a lot of points. He's a very good ball handler, good assist man, plays solid defense. He's still very, very good. Don't take that out of my mouth. LeBron stands. He's very good. I just think his GM ways is getting ahead of him. I think it's getting in the way of his overall greatness, honestly. Like, if he didn't do all this dumb crap and just trusted a legitimate GM, I think he could have had a couple more rings on his finger. Not even joking. So maybe LeBron, the player, shouldn't retire, but LeBron, the GM, should just back off. He's a disservice to his team overall. He needs to stop. Like Russell Westbrook, everybody knew that wasn't going to work out. Like, why would you think that's going to work out? And apparently, he wanted Pelinka to trade Westbrook and a first rounder for John Wall.
Why would that be better?
That wouldn't be better. Like, what are you thinking, LeBron? You need to just stop. Like, you are such a good basketball player. Definitely one of the best of all time. I can admit that. But you're a horrible GM. You need to stop talking. You need to stop trying to be the GM and just, like, do your job because you're really good at your job, but you're not good at the GM job. So if he's still around when his son's around, like, guaranteed he'll make his team do whatever possible to get his son on the team, and that'll really show you how much he probably runs the NBA. So,
or he'll just leave and go wherever his son got drafted to.
True, or that, yeah, for sure.
One of the two.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I don't think it's very spicy, but since Luke's not here, I will also bring up a spicy meatball that will get underneath his skin. No, Ja'Marr Chase was not the correct choice. Yeah, we know. Ja'Marr Chase was not the correct choice. I just posted my hot take, and you'll see the graphic. But listen, Kyle, do you remember at the beginning of the season, before everything started, and I was kind of like crapping on the Bengals about taking Ja'Marr Chase because the picture was Joe Burrow, Penei Sewell, anybody catches the ball. And then it was Burrow, anybody as the O lineman, and then Ja'Marr Chase out there just calling for the ball. This season literally ended on that graphic. Like, it's so funny because Burrow is on the ground. Anybody is in front of him, and Ja'Marr Chase was wide open, which would have won them the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So Ja'Marr Chase, yes, great player, lovely, good to have. I like Ja'Marr Chase. I do. I think it was a good pick, but they just didn't invest in an O-line, and that is what cost them a Super Bowl. And here's a better one for you. Do you really think they're going to repeat in kind of a weak year for a lot of teams? Maybe not.
It's very hard to go back, especially when you lose, or even when you win.
No,
it's hard to go back.
Yeah, Aubin, I'm with you. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying the point is because they didn't invest in someone to protect Joe Burrow, that's why they lost. Chase or not, it doesn't matter. This is common football practice. If you don't have time to stand up and throw the ball's not going anywhere. What's Joe Mixon going to do? Jump over 12 guys and run for a touchdown? Like,
here's where, like, I'm in the middle of this is, like, I agree with you. I think that, like, when we first did a mock draft, I said the Bengals should trade down and pick up Rashawn Slater. Rashawn Slater is already like an all-pro, and injuries withstanding, he's going to be in the league for 12 years, be a Pro Bowler every year, be one of the best left tackles there, right? Like, that right there is longevity. Ja'Marr Chase is a great player, and Aubin's right. They wouldn't have gotten there without him.
No, I agree.
But is he good for Joe Burrow's longevity? Is he good for the Bengals' longevity? You know what I mean? Like, receivers come and go all the time, but left tackles are very hard to find. So, like, longevity-wise, I don't know.
Yeah, that's my point. Like, he is going to be Andrew Luck if they do not invest in an O-line for him. You cannot. I don't care who you are. You cannot take that much of it in a beating and abuse and be the best player in the league. Not going to happen.
It catches up with everybody.
Look at the Colts.
It catches up with every
team. They had a wonderful team in 2012, 2013, 2014. They had a great team, but no O-line. Luck literally led the league in the most sacks like given to a quarterback. And he retired at 30. And people were like, why is he retiring? I don't know, because he's on the ground for half the game. Like, it's the same. Like, I'm just mad because, like, yes, Chase was a good player. Yes, they wouldn't be there without Chase. But you are ruining your all-time quarterback, which is not common like a receiver is, just to pick a receiver that he likes. Like, what was the point? T. Higgins could have done the same thing. Tyler Boyd could have done the same thing. Like,
if you look at like the best quarterbacks in the league right now, like before Tom Brady retired, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, they didn't always have the best weapons. Now it sucks because like you're like, well, get them a good weapon and it'll be better. I agree. That's why like Devontae Adams there, we love. When the Patriots got Randy Moss, we love that. But even because Tom Brady gets the ball so quick, the team still invest in an offensive line. The Packers with David Bakhtiari, when they had Corey Linsley, Elgin Jenkins, guys like that, like they invested in an offensive line because the quarterback is the diamond. Like you can't let someone take it. You can't. So I agree. Jamar Chase should stay. They wouldn't have gotten there without Jamar Chase 100%. And they can right the ship, but they need to do that quick. And I don't know if there's someone out there like Rashawn Slater in this draft. I don't know. Like Rashawn Slater, Penei Sewell, to me, I mean, Penei, say about him what you want. He's on the Lions. I don't know if those type of talents are there in this draft. And again, it's very hard to find a left tackle that can be your left tackle for the next 10 to 12 years. Yeah. It's much easier. Look at this draft. Devonta Smith, Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle. There's 3 good receivers right there. You know what I mean? Like, I know a lot of people have missed on receivers. There's so many good ones.
Yes. Well, and we even talked like building the prospects for our live mock draft coming soon. We'll tell you about that. But we made the stuff. I did the research, and I'm like, literally, you could take almost anybody in round 1, and I'd say, yeah, it was a good pick. Like, there's so many good receivers. But you know what we didn't talk a whole lot about? O-linemen. It's just not here this draft. It's not. Like, I get it. I get it. The Bengals wouldn't be there. Look, I'm a Ravens fan. If anybody doesn't like the Bengals, it's me. And I'm telling you, you goofed up. Like, congrats. You have an amazing receiver. But the point will remain, if Joe Burrow keeps getting hurt, you aren't going back to the Super Bowl. And he got hurt in the Super Bowl. Why did he get hurt in the Super Bowl? Was it because Jamar Chase just wasn't catching enough balls for him and making it happen? No, it's because they didn't give him an O-line. Like, I understand the love for Jamar Chase. I do. He is an absolute unit. He is amazing. He is. But they didn't do anything to help Joe Burrow, and he got hurt multiple times again this season. Like, it's just – it blows my mind that, like, people don't, like, talk about this.
In this draft, where they're at, pick 31, by the way, receivers are very around that pick. You know what I mean? Like, if you pick a receiver at 20 versus picking a receiver at 40, it's pretty much the same darn thing. Are you going to find a good tackle at 31? Yeah. I don't know.
David, let's talk about it. David Bell, Jahan Dotson, John Mechie, Jameson Williams. You could take yeah, that's right. No, not Kenny Pickett. Oh my gosh, what's his name? George Pickens. Like, what's his name? There's plenty of guys that aren't going to go in the top like 20 picks. Like, if you wanted that so bad, take the bad year, keep Burrow healthy, and then get another. Like, it drives me up a wall. It does. Like, I understand what Alvin is saying, but at the same time, I don't care. Like, I would give you that if they won the Super Bowl. But notice they lost the Super Bowl because their O-line couldn't do crap. Because Jamar Chase was open. If it was a matter of just Jamar Chase, yeah, that game should have been won. Bengals would have a Super Bowl title right now. But they don't because they failed to invest. And the sad thing was they kept winning. So in their mind, why keep him upright? He's fine. You're gonna play the game the Colts played. And Andrew Luck honestly should have been a Hall of Fame. And now he won't be.
It's going to catch up to him at some point.
Yep.
Like, you could go without an offensive line the next 2-3 years, and they could very well be back in the thick of things.
Yeah.
But his career will last 8 years and not like the 20 that you want. So,
less.
You know?
Yeah.
Less. So, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. I'm not mad at you, Aubin. I'm just like, I love Jamar Chase. I love that they're playing together, but like, If Burrow gets hurt and he's gone, I don't want to hear people saying, well, they should have protected him better. We've been saying that for 2 years. Like, it's not a new concept. So, anyhow, speaking of talking about dummies, let's take out the trash. Okay, I read this, and my brain kind of linked this together. So Harbaugh originally said he was so sick of Michigan, and there's reports that he didn't like the extension that they gave him. So then shortly after that, he started doing NFL interviews. Did he take any of those positions? Did it seem like he was super serious about it? Notice that the day that he talked to the Vikings was the day that Michigan gave him a bit of a higher raise on his extension. I'm like, you just wanted a different contract. If I was any coordinator at Michigan, I would be out, because that is not someone that is committed to that team. I would be OUT out the door. Like, that's Harbaugh. Dude, this ain't the NFL. This is college. If you're going to play stupid games, you're going to win stupid prizes. And I can't believe I'm saying this. I hope Ohio State beats the crap out of you this year, because that's pathetic. Instead of investing in your players that are coming there and saying, wow, you guys won the Big Ten division, this is going to be the place to go now. You played stupid games the year after you got so much success just for an extension and more money. Dude.
Yeah, it's not very sly of him. Like, I think there's a way to do it without making your players feel like crap. Because I think a lot of coaches do this. I mean, maybe not interview. That's kind of probably where he went wrong. Like, there were links between him and NFL organizations. Like, you should have just left it there, because that would have been enough probably to spur on Michigan to give you more money. But you had to, like, interview, and that's kind of shady. And James Franklin from Penn State, he didn't interview with any of these other teams in college or in the NFL. He wouldn't get an NFL head coaching job. But there were rumors that he was linked to, like, USC and other schools like that, Florida State, things like that. And then he got a massive extension. So I think there's a way to do it. I think these coaches do know their worth to a program. Even though Michigan, congratulations, he made it to the Final Four, got, smacked, whatever. It's probably the best they can do. So he knows that. Definitely is trashy because, like you said, the players, if their coach is in interviews in the NFL, like, how can you trust that and feel like you're there for the long haul? So, definitely not good for him. But I'm sure his name will come up again and again and again. So,
let's go to our number 2 for taking out the trash. People attacking Texas A&M's basketball women's coach Sydney Carter for what reason? Like, I've read it. I'm like, okay, it's not a suit. Who cares? Like, did we notice that the pink was for breast cancer awareness? Did we notice that the pink matched what the other players were wearing?
Right.
Did we notice that she had a breast cancer ribbon on her freaking chest? Like, she's not just playing stupid games. She's a boss. Be a boss. Do it. Like, you're a coach. Like, it is your job to be on the front lines. And part of it is your appearance. You're supposed to make people want to come to you. Now, if I see some frumpy woman in a suit, sorry, that's not how I'm trying to say that, but that's just, like, you see the difference. Like, if I see somebody in a suit that's just yelling at people versus somebody that's dressing with the players, matching them, matching their energy on the court, what coach am I going to go play for? Like, I'd rather go play for the person with energy that's excited and passionate about the sport. But instead, people are talking about professionalism. How about Bobby Knight throwing a chair on the freaking floor? Like, you want to talk about professionalism?
Right.
And you're going to attack women first?
Well, listen, I've come to realize this. It's taken me a little bit, but women and men are treated very differently in sports and basketball like this. So for Bobby Knight, throwing a chair, iconic. If a woman threw a chair, she should just get out. So, you know what I mean? Like, that happens. Yeah,
I hate it.
She's on the time of her month. That's what they would say.
Well, she's got
and it's horrible
issues.
because, like, I think she said, I'm reading it here, You hear so many times that people don't want to watch women play basketball because there's too many that look manly, or they play like a guy, or they don't play like guys enough. Women can never satisfy anybody in any aspect of life. Now that's a very huge generalization, but like she pretty much hit the nail on the head. Like, because of this and other things that have happened, it's pretty evident to see that they are treated differently in sports than men are. She was fine with what she's wearing. Like, would I wear it? No,
Yeah.
but I'm not her, and I don't really care.
Right.
Because, like, if you coach, then coach. Like, I don't care what you're wearing. Like, be
That's what I
decent.
care
You know,
about.
don't dress up naked, but like, you know, just do what you're supposed to do, and that's fine with me. But these people, any and every kind of people, just attack any little thing that they see. It happens all the time, and it's annoying. I'm over it. So
same. I think be a boss ass woman and wear whatever you want. Like that's how it is. So I just thought the whole thing was ridiculous that actually made news. Like, why should that make news? We should be celebrating it. That should make news, but not like I don't get it. Anyways, let's talk about let's take out the trash. I'm gonna throw you a curveball because you're gonna think I'm gonna go one direction and I'm not. Juwan Howard and Wisconsin's coach, whose name I can't think of because since when was Wisconsin that good at basketball? Greg Gard. The whole end of the game thing, the whole fight, the whole everything. Dude, when someone doesn't want to talk to you because you broke like unwritten rules in basketball by being ahead by double digits and still playing press and taking a timeout and like all these stupid, like the game's over, play the game out. Don't be that guy. And then to have the audacity after Juwan Howard didn't want to talk to you, you can see it in the video. He was not going to shake his hand. He was just going to keep walking. And then he stepped in front of him and like put his hand out. I'm like, oh, you're going to get some words at that point. So you know what? I'm with Juwan Howard. Don't touch me. Don't act like that. Don't play like that. That's dirty basketball. Don't touch me. I'm sad he didn't actually hit Wisconsin's coach. I would have loved to see that. But on the flip side, like Juwan, dude, chill. It's just a game. But at the same time, I get it. Like, you don't do that. And if you're mad and you don't want to talk to somebody, you don't do that either. Because he touched him and he was trying to tell him, like, hey, just calm down. Oh, no. So when has stopping somebody from doing what they want to do and saying just calm down ever worked? Ever. So, Juwan, dude, like, you got to chill, but I get it. Sorry about you. Because I don't know if you saw he's suspended for the rest of the season. Shocker.
Yeah, I'd be pissed off too. Yeah, I mean, he should be. For sure. That's where the self-control comes into play. Like, you definitely can't do that. The unwritten rules of basketball. You can see it time and time again. Like, if I like the Sixers and a team does that to the Sixers, if I'm a Duke fan or a Penn State fan and that team does that to one of my teams, like, I am livid. Like, as a fan, I am livid. I can't imagine what a coach would feel like. But at the same time, like, part of it, not the whole 100%, part of it is just a sense of entitlement from Juwan Howard in Michigan. This is what happens. Like, he was a great NBA player, but when these great NBA players like become a head coach or you know get a term of seniority or in a high position, they get a little bit of entitlement. Like, I can do what I want, and I guarantee you, at least half of this situation. No, that's a little too much. Probably a quarter of a situation was entitlement. 75% of it was just, I'm pissed off and I hate this dude, so I want to slap him. But part of it's definitely entitlement, I think, because like once you get to this position and everybody loves you, and everybody did love Juwan Howard, and probably Michigan fans still do because they love what he did, but you can't do it. So
yeah, I'll give him some grace at least with. I know I'm that way too. Like, if I'm mad and I don't want to talk about something, leave me alone. Don't walk in front of me and stop me and say, calm down.
Yeah.
What did he expect was going to happen? Like, really? Like, are you that dense? Like, you must be. Like, of course he was going to get mad and chirp at you. Duh. So I get it, but also like don't put him in that situation. Like he knew better. He was just going to walk off. Okay, that's it. That's the end of the game. But your interference like caused that whole thing. So do I feel bad for Wisconsin? No. Especially when you go back and watch the video and there's a guy in the back just going, suck it. I'm like, are you serious? Like, what are you, 5? Like, and it's a coach. It's not even like a kid. It's a coach. He's like, suck. Go back and watch it. I'm like, you're a child. Like, do we want Malice at the Palace Part 2, guys? Because that's what you're going to do when you do that. So just don't. Let's move away from taking out the trash to flashbang. I wrote this for 2 people, so I'm going to answer it too, but I'm going to ask you first. NBA MVP this season. Embiid or Jokic? Hit me.
Embiid, because he has 8 40-point games, and Jokic only has maybe 1.
Yep. I'm also going to take Embiid because can I put all this in one sentence? Yes, I can. Because Jokic shouldn't have been last year. It should have been Embiid. And it should be Embiid this year also because Embiid kind of carries the whole Sixers team. And when was the last time a dominant scoring center ever did that? Not Jokic. Jokic is like a tall point guard, which is not sexy to me. I like the old-fashioned centers like Embiid. So it should be Embiid. Anyways, you're welcome. I came out for the Sixers. You know what? Like, I am a Boston fan, but if it's not us, I'm cool with it being Philly. And I think that only started because of Allen Iverson, and I respected the crap out of Allen Iverson. I think that's – and Dad liked Dr. J growing up. So you got 2 players.
They have a lot of iconic basketball players, that's for sure.
Right. Like, so I'm going to cheer for you if it's not us. And clearly it's not going to be us. The Derek White trade was great, but not enough for a championship, guys. Let's go to transfer portal shakeup. It's going to be really quick this week. I have something else written, but I meant that to be like for next week. I just wrote it in general. Trinity Bell is leaving Tennessee. Who cares? Moving on. It's Tennessee. Michael Trigg, this is a good one, is leaving USC and going to Ole Miss. Now, he waited for a long time, and I reread the report to make sure it was true. He signed up for classes the same day Jackson Dart did. I was like, huh, that's interesting. So I'm guessing that was kind of a similar situation with Austin Stogner and Spencer Rattler, who went from Oklahoma to South Carolina. So that knocks out 2 guys.
Who would follow Spencer Rattler, though?
Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't get that. But I will say South Carolina has actually started turning some things around and actually getting a lot better. So maybe they think this is a good place for us to be in a rebuilding place other than the place that was already built that we were never going to get our chance. Who knows? Jaleel Billingsley is leaving Alabama to go to Texas. That's
weird.
I'm not even mad. I'm not mad. I'm more annoyed because Texas fans are kind of walking all over us about it and like, oh, we got Jaleel Billingsley back with Steve Sarkisian. I'm like, first of all, Steve Sarkisian was a piece of garbage. Second of all, Jaleel Billingsley is a piece of garbage. If you followed Jaleel Billingsley religiously this whole season, he kept complaining that he wasn't the guy and he should have been the guy, and then he wouldn't show up for practice. So Saban put him on like the 3rd string depth chart and was like, he's not doing what he needs to do. He knows what he has to do to be on this team and work hard. And he just never wanted that. And then every time he was in a big game, he just fell apart. Let's go back to the national title game. He had multiple catchable balls that he just did not really go after to get it. It'd be like right here, and he'd go, oh, and then get hit and let it go. For the guy that complains about not getting a shot to be there, when you got the shot to be there because people were hurt and we were missing stuff, you did not perform. So congratulations for taking our like dummies, Texas. Congrats. You're not back for getting a tight end. So have at it.
Insert meme from Endgame. We had one shot, and we shot it. It's gone. It's shot. We shot it.
That's okay. I put the when the news first broke, this was a while ago. I put the meme from Loki. Yes, very sad. Anyways, like I don't care. Like, go ahead, man. You didn't do a single thing for us. Have at it. I love Cameron Latu. That's my guy. by Billingsley. And the last guy on this will be kind of interesting. Landon Morris is leaving Syracuse and going to Utah. I tried to pick 4 and 5-star guys. That's what's on here. I don't know why he ever went to Syracuse. I don't know if he just didn't get recruited super well and ended up at Syracuse or what, but it's interesting because when we watched the Rose Bowl between Ohio State and Utah, their passing game was good, but it needed a couple more pass catchers to be elite. Maybe throwing in a tight end to that scheme with Utah unlocks that for them. So if he reaches his 4-star potential, maybe he's a beast down the line.
Mm-hmm.
Let's find out. But that's our tight end edition of Transfer Portal Shakeup. Let's go to up high, down low, too slow. How you're gonna love this. Tristan Thompson, as we all know, has multiple children. When he got traded to the Pacers, there were lots of memes of friends that I'm friends with about don't let your daughters be around Indianapolis while this guy is with the Pacers. Thankfully, that was short-lived. He helped the Pacers beat the Wizards. That's pretty good. Wizards are a pretty decent team in the East. They've got good young players. And then right after that game, he got waived. And now he's going to join the Bulls. Just when I thought the Pacers did some good trades to build stuff up for them for the future, you let the guy that helped you win a game in a struggling position of center for you while Miles Turner is hurt and you traded Domantas Sabonis and then you waive him for him to join the Bulls, you're dumb. He's still better than Goga Bitadze. Why? I don't get it. I thought you would think that's funny. So of course, up high, down low. Ooh, too slow, Indy. What was that about? Here's another good one for you. The turnout for the Los Angeles Rams parade. Wow. When football players that go to SEC schools or Big Ten schools say there's no football really in California, this is why. If that was the Bengals, trying to move through the city of Cleveland probably would have been a work is shut down for the next couple hours because I can't come in.
Yeah.
But in LA, a few people showed up. I'm like, oh, that's bad.
Kelly doesn't really care about
that Super Bowl win, guys.
Especially LA. Yeah.
Down low, oof, ouch, too slow.
Oakland. If Oakland were to win, those fans would definitely be out there. Oakland fans are just something different.
Yes.
But LA Rams, especially when they were just in St. Louis a couple years ago, going to LA, there aren't many real Rams fans there, I don't think. And if there were a bunch of people there, they probably would have been paid by someone to be there, just actors and actresses paid to be there. So, they hopefully maybe what they can do is just transport a bunch of people from St. Louis that want to go to California, and there they can get some real fans there because that's the only way it's going to happen. So
I'd like to see that. Truthfully, I would. But yeah, it was that's got to be tough. Playing through a bunch of tough games, winning down the stretch and some ugly ones for nothing. Ugh. Let's go to Jock, Paper, Scissors. I hid this from both of you intentionally. Please allow me to pull that up quickly. Because, you'll see why. So, Jock, Paper, Scissors, if you're not familiar with this, we haven't done it super, super recently. I'll give you 3 things. You pick which one is the one that you would take and give me a why. The one that I gave you is Aaron Rodgers, but I hid the other 2. So, are you ready? This one's going to be tough. It's going to be a really tough one for you. Aaron Rodgers, Steve Buscemi's moldy gym sock, or a brick that has been vaccinated. Who would you pick to be your starting quarterback?
I would take Steve Buscemi from Mr. Deeds when he has the crazy eyes.
Yeah.
That'd be my pick.
But you wouldn't take his moldy gym sock?
No.
No,
Probably
okay.
Crazy Steve or whatever his name is. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that is it, actually. I'll take the brick that's been vaccinated. Not because it's vaccinated, because at least the brick, you put it in one place and it'll stay instead of whining about where it is and wanting to leave constantly. So, yeah, I'll take that. Oh, and it won't lie about being vaccinated. So there's that too, because it can't talk. But, sorry. The second one that I have for Jock, Paper, Scissors is so our man Aaron can't win a ring on or off the field. So let's talk about the three big ones that got away. Olivia Munn, Danica Patrick, and Shailene Woodley. Which was his biggest loss and why?
I just want to say, like, what is wrong with him? Like, all of these women seem like very nice people and were definitely into him, and he just got rid of all of them. So I just question who that man is. Like, if he really cannot be happy, or there's something internally that's just wrong with him. I would pick Shailene Woodley, just because, like, I think she's a decent actress, and all the interviews that I've watched, that I've seen, like, she didn't really care about football, but she liked him.
She seems nice, yeah.
So that means, like, she was definitely, like, into him and not his, football glory. Which is kind of what you want, I would think.
Yep.
But apparently not. So.
Well, and the reason they broke up, she said he just didn't spend any time with her or give her any attention or even try in their relationship. And I'm like, he doesn't even do that on the field. So, yeah, I get it. It's just probably a commitment issue that he has, like, just to be completely frank and not be mean. Like, it's probably just how he is. I guess, though, when you make millions, you kind of get entitled. So, I'm going to go with Olivia Munn. Yeah, she good. And the fact that he, like, couldn't stay with her, like, she's just a nice woman. And, like, she played Psylocke. So I'm like, oh, X-Men. And, like, everything that she does, like, she really is passionate about. And I'm like, I would think somebody that's so passionate about football, about being in it for that long, and somebody that's passionate about something else that doesn't have to be football, that'll work. Apparently not. So, yikes. But yeah, I should just rename that to Rag on Aaron Rodgers Show. Let's go through this really quick. I can't believe I read that. LeBron wants to go back to the Cavs. Excuse me. I'm going to make this really short and sweet. Of course you do, you bum. I agree with Kyle. Retire. Okay, remember, he left the Cavs because he wanted to build his own dream team in LA. I get it. LA is a sexier place than Cleveland. It can offer you so much that Cleveland couldn't, like Space Jam 2, which was so great. So you did the LA experiment is not working. Even if you come back next year, I wouldn't be surprised if Rob Pelinka is like, just trade him, see what we can get for LeBron James. Like, he's just that bad. Like, okay, Anthony Davis, sure, he's been injured pretty much ever since you both arrived in LA. I get that. But bringing on a cast of characters that has never materialized anything decent for you, even though you won in the bubble year, but you played Miami. What was Miami going to do? Like, all they had was Jimmy Butler. And the fact that we're saying all they had was Jimmy Butler is not great. So that wasn't a great win. That was more of just like a pity win, because do you really think Miami was going to beat the Lakers? No. So he should have won that. That wasn't like, oh, he came back and beat him. He should have won that. Duh. In addition to that, now you want to go to the team that has gone to greater heights than I think either one of us would have expected without LeBron. Evan Mobley is defensively terrifying with Jarrett Allen. Darius Garland has actually, like, really panned out for them post, like, Colin Sexton being injured. Great. That's fantastic. Ship Sexton, get something for Sexton, put some more rotational pieces in. You've got three really good players, and you want LeBron to come in that and mess that up? He left you because you didn't have anybody, and now you're just, what, going to welcome him with open arms and say, welcome back? Like, I hate everything about this. If you truly want to go to the Cavs, just retire. Yeah. Like, at that point, just admit that you cannot win games without help. Even though you're such a stud, and the GOAT. If you were the GOAT, you should have made Carmelo and Westbrook come together in your little circle. That's what you always wanted, was to play with these guys, and you couldn't make it work. You should have said, Westbrook, this is our plan. Dude, this is what we're doing. I need you to stop jacking up some shots. I need you to pass the ball out. I need you to do this. Carmelo found his place on the team really easy, but he's old. What was he going to do? Russ is a great athlete and just can't do it. Like, just nothing about that works. If you and I'll back you on this. If you really want to go to the Cavs, just retire. Just retire, because then you can say, I ended my career as one of the best players ever. But if you go to the Cavs and you destroy what they've built, you're going to go to the most hated player ever, because I'm excited for the Cavs. Evan Mobley was a steal for Cleveland. Jarrett Allen was such a good piece that I didn't realize was going to turn on like that. Darius Garland, nobody thought he was going to be that. They are a wonderful story, and he's going to come in and wreck it. Or worse, to get him, they're going to trade some of those pieces to get him. So, like, there's no winning situation here for Cleveland or LeBron. So just don't.
I'm gonna Wreck It Ralph. There should be a better name for LeBron James than Wreck It Ralph, but he will do that. I mean, look at the Lakers. Like, you're right, they had AD. I mean, they did have some young players, some young pieces at one point.
Shipped them all.
Then they got old. Then they ran out of assets, and now they're here.
Yeah.
Don't make that same mistake. Cleveland.
What do they have? Like a 2026 or like a 2029 first rounder?
I don't know.
It's absurd.
It's like you go into Madden, you trade all your picks away for, I don't know, Tom Brady and J.J. Watt, and then they both get injured or retire the next year, and you're like, dang, what happened? My team sucks. Like, you can't do that. You gotta, like, they don't have a window. It's one thing if you traded away a couple first-round picks or a little bit of a young player for a star player, but, like, their window was already short. Like, you can't do that. No. Especially with Carmelo Anthony and AD who can stay on the court.
Let's talk about this too. LA is very tumultuous because so many people love the Lakers, and when you start sucking, people are going to talk about the Lakers sucking. This ain't the Suns. Like, if the Suns went back to sucking, you wouldn't hear about it.
Right.
But the Celtics suck. People talk about it all the time. The Lakers suck. People will talk about it all the time. Like, you chose the wrong place to be sucky.
Yeah.
Like, because let's be honest, I'm going to go ahead and talk about it, and then we don't have to talk about it later. Curry was the All-Star Game MVP. Dude had 50 points, 16 total three-pointers. He's a monster. But all that LeBron is getting remembered for in that game is he hit the game winner. Like, after a while, like, when the same dog does the same trick all the time, like, it's just not as fun as the first time. As when you taught the dog the trick and they did it. No, I'm not calling LeBron a dog. Chill out. I'm just trying to find some kind of way to explain it. But, like, it's just not – it's not cool. Like, he is not that LeBron. He's not. And I agree with you. You just hang it up. Just be done. Like, you chose a place that you were going to get a lot of criticism, and you failed spectacularly other than one ring, which if you went to L.A. and brought in all that talent, you should have more than one ring. You shouldn't be sitting near the 500 mark this year. Like, is bad. Is really bad. And you shipped off Kuzma, who's actually doing pretty good. And you shipped off Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. And you shipped off Montrezl Harrell. And all these guys that are doing really well right now. You shipped them all. Like, that didn't go well. So, just retire. That's where I'm at with that. Let's talk about the other, like, really polarizing topic, and then we'll finish out the All-Star weekend. Simmons is starting to look like an 100% return, and I'm done with it. I'm done with it. I'm not a mean man, but I kind of hope he gets hurt, or he's just like, oh, I don't want to play basketball anymore. Great. Bye. Like, I'm done. I'm so done. To use mental health as an excuse and then immediately be, like, participating in some practices and, like, really running over the playbooks and stuff. Like, you're pathetic. Like, that's not cool. Like, just admit that you couldn't do it and be done. Like, because Philly gave him lots of chances. Philly gave him offseason after offseason after offseason after offseason to improve his shooting. And he worked on it, but apparently not enough. I think he was too busy feeling popular to actually work. Because look at Embiid. We celebrate Embiid because Embiid got hurt multiple times, but Embiid came back, worked like crazy, and now he's an MVP candidate. Now the Sixers look incredible. If he had done the same thing, the Sixers would be like repeat people to the finals. Like, I don't know.
That year where Kawhi beat them with that last second rim bouncer crap. They had Ben, they had Jimmy Buckets, they had JJ, Toby, and Embiid. If Ben Simmons actually improved his game, they probably could have won the finals that year. So, it's sad because he has all the ability and the capability of being an all-time player. I think he really does. It's just I don't think he's ever going to get there.
And I don't think anyone cares to wait around anymore for him because the NBA and the NFL are very similar in a what have you done for me lately kind of league.
Yeah.
And he has not done anything ever in his career. I will give you he's a great defender. He's a good athlete. I'll give you that. You're absolutely right and spot on about talking about that for a long time. He is. But I now am questioning his character and his work ethic. And it appears that the character part is spot on. Yeah. And that just doesn't make me want to root for him at all. And also, how is he going to play with Durant? Have we ever talked about the specs on that? How is he going to play with Durant? Durant plays the 4. What is he going to play point guard?
Yeah. I mean, you have Kyrie and Durant who both like the ball in their hands. Ben Simmons cannot stand at the 3-point line and just wait there because he doesn't want to shoot.
Which means now that Simmons has to have the ball, which means Kyrie's not being used, which means Durant is going to have to wait for – so however you phrase it, it's not going to work. Which is why I said weeks ago the Sixers won that trade. Because Harden struggled a little bit early, but he's going to pan out for him. It's James Harden. There's no questions about what he's going to do. But there's a billion questions surrounding Ben Simmons and how that offense is going to function with all three of them. Unless they trade Kyrie. Kyrie, and then he's their point guard. So, I don't know. I don't see it. Anyways, moving on. Kade Cunningham won the Rising Stars MVP. They changed the format for some stuff, and I was interested, maybe not interested enough to watch the whole thing, but, they're trying to make it better, and I think they need to apply that to the season also because 82 games, that's tough. That's tough. No one watches every single 82 of the games for their team. No one does it because after a while you're just like, oh, they're playing the Knicks tonight. Why would I watch that? After a while, you're just like, buh. But Kade Cunningham, okay, he's starting to come into it. He won the MVP, which obviously he's doing something. I hope he starts becoming a perennial all-star with the Pistons. That would be really good for a franchise that's needed help for a long time. Obi Toppin won the dunk contest. I was right a year ago when I said Obi Toppin. I said it again this year. He's just really creative. He's got that kind of bounce and the power on the slams. I like him. I don't think he's the best dunker that's ever been around, but currently he's pretty good. I like seeing him compete. I also called the 3-point contest winner, Kat. We've talked about it for a while. Kat is a weird center. Kat is not one of those big bruisers. Kat is a shooter. And that's strange because Minnesota has never figured out how to use that. But, I'm not shocked that he won the 3-point contest. He's good. He is good. He almost broke Curry's record this year, by the way. I was like, that should say something to the Timberwolves. If I'm watching the All-Star game weekend, I'm going, maybe we should work on some, pick and pops where we just, put him on the outside and let him shoot. Because apparently he can shoot better than half the people on your team if he won the 3-point contest, guys. So I don't know.
I don't know how long he's going to stay there.
No.
But if I were him, I wouldn't stay there much longer because I feel like a team could probably use him better than what they're using him.
Boston will take it instead of trading back for Daniel Tice. Anyways, we already kind of talked about it, but Jarrett Allen, Darius Garland, and Evan Mobley won the skills challenge over the Antetokounmpo brothers and the rookies team. Is this a sign of thing to come for the Cavs? I think so. I do. I don't see Evan Mobley like next year just saying, whoop, I forgot how to defend people in the paint and really force bad shots. Don't see that. Jarrett Allen, we were already talking about on the Nets. Took him a while to show up for the Cavs, but he's kind of going off too. And now you have a real guard. It might be a sign of things to come for Cleveland, because the East, the Hawks were supposed to be all that. Nope. The Bucks were supposed to be all that. The Celtics, nope. The Nets, not currently. The Knicks started out hot and fell apart. The Bulls, legit. The Hornets, like everyone's got big questions. No one is a solid, clear-cut winner in the East. So I don't know if you can start building something quietly. You have a good chance. Oh, and it's nice that Kevin Love has finally shown up for the Cavs and like actually contributed off the bench. Like he hasn't done that since LeBron, 2016, 2017. Like it's been a while, buddy boy. I didn't even know you were still playing until I was reading that the other day, and I was like, oh, like that's pretty bad. Like if you're not that consistent and you've been around for that long, and I've forgotten you still play, yikes. But yeah, I don't know. I'm secretly rooting for Cleveland because I just want them to rub it in LeBron's face of we don't need you to win. But yeah, what do you think? And then we'll wrap up.
Yeah, I mean, I think all three of these guys and more, it's definitely a sign of things to come. I think if LeBron does go back there and doesn't change the team, like I think that team could win the East. But again, I'm just too scared of him actually going there and then messing it up. So I think if you get like one stud in there, like one star, like I don't think you need to have 2, 3, 4 guys to win a championship. Stars, you know what I mean? But like if they get one guy in there, I think that could be a team to compete for sure.
Yeah. That's going to wrap us up for this Monday edition of Jock Talk. I'm going to start plugging other things later, but I'm not going to do it now because this has been a late episode. But if you are here, like, subscribe, smash the like button, share, tell people, oh, these guys are weird and talk about weird stuff. And I don't know if I like them or not. So you listen to them. That's fine. I'll take the views. So thanks for hanging as usual. Thank you for your support. And we will see you next week.